Only fat when only. Oh, blimey, will I've. Hello, you wrong-uns. I don't think I was supposed to be singing there. But let me just make sure that's working. And right. I think that's working. What was I was going to say something there, but I was you caught me mid-song, probably out of tune. But evening and welcome to the Theatre of the Mind live. Welcome to the body of the church. It's a broad church. Everyone is welcome. And tonight we're talking about quite a few bits and pieces. But as ever, the comments before I come on air are as funny as. So I was just sort of trying to read them before I came on air. And I couldn't stop laughing. Andrew James, you utter wrong 'un. Andrew was in early, keen. Do you know, I've got a massive, big pot of hibiscus, size queen. And I will acknowledge that there is something else going on this evening. They're probably on stage about 8:20, so I will acknowledge that. I don't want anybody to leave, but you can kind of have it on in the background. And while you're hooping and hollering, if little Luke, well, not so little now at 16-year-old, but if little Luke does anything this evening, please let me know, because obviously I'm in the middle of it and I can't watch it. But Andrew James, you're wrong. Oh, hello, Adrian. What you got for dinner tonight, double A? And I said, Battenberg and chips, young AJ. And he said, oh, crinkle or straight, AA? Slightly to the left, Andrew. Gelly Darcy says, thumbs up with a beer. Oh, if only. All I can have is me blum hibiscus. I could do with a couple of, liveness. And Andy Sinsky, roll on 8 p.m. Andy, you smooth talking bastard. Andrew James double A is clearing out his pipes and big organ for the Gregorian chants. I am the upstanding member of this particular community and the largest member of my family. And talking about Gregorian chants, as we weren't. Do you know that if hang on, was it a third? So Christmas Day is actually January the 7th. Genuine facts, not bants, facts. January the 7th, under the Julian calendar, which we used to run by, 13 months, 28 days each. Christmas Day would be January the 7th. So Jesus. Not the Christus, just Jesus the Nazarene. He didn't become the Christus until he floated off the Christ consciousness. He's only ever Jesus the Nazarene. What happens if, like Manchester City, they've got Jesus as centre forward? I mean, does he walk on turf? Rusty Mouse, get your cassock on, Adrian. Oh, you dirty old tart. Rusty Mouse, how did you know? Wasn't it one of those, see if I can drag this from the back of my head. Wasn't there an MP that used to wear, was it like a Solis chain or something around her thigh that had, genuine again, not bants, this is genuine. There was an MP whose name I can't remember, who belonged to a particular sect, Jesuits possibly of some kind, and used to wear a really nasty sharp chain around her thigh so that she could relate to Jesus being crucified. Mind you, wait till we get the general election, you won't see the Tories deny that there's ever been 2 crucifixions. I think they'll find there will be if it's in May. Mr. John, honestly, this hibiscus tea is fabulous. Mr. John, good evening, Adrian. Yeah, wrong. Hope you and Mrs. Allen are well, and good evening to all. I see it's been revealed in the media that Zoe Ball has ADHD. I ask you, with all that's going on, is it news? No. She sucks through her well, hang on, I better put this right. I better say this right. Zoe Ball is not one of my favourite broadcasters. I sacked her back in the day, 25 years ago, because she sucks through her teeth while she's broadcasting, and there's nothing worse. Well, nothing worse. If she's got ADHD, well, they've got medication for that now. I mean, I know people have got ADHD. They haven't got the age bit because they can't get out of bed. This may seem like code, but I'm not going to name anybody. But they've got ADHD, except they haven't got the hyperactive bit. They can't get out of the pit. And Zoe Ball, I have no time for her. She had an affair behind Norman Cook's back. How are you, man? Do you know? I mean, I can't really say anything without being base, but oh man, we all have our crosses to bear. We're back to Jesus again. But you know, well, since then she's just she's not on my Christmas card list. Definitely. She probably speaks very highly of me. Rusty Mouse, Mr. Jollop, did you hiccup? What do you mean? Mr. Jollop? No, Rusty Mouse. I'm telling you, it's a whole conversation. My favourite comment of the evening so far, in other news from Mr. Jollop, I wonder if the French authorities have released Tower Block Tracy yet. No, they're probably keeping her in, having too much fun, from what I hear. The old Bovril, Lloyd George knew my father. The wrong uns. What? The old Bovril? Was the family middle name, was it hyphenated? Wrong, hyphenated uns? I have to tell you that about this time last year, I went skiing in Switzerland and with the now Mrs. Allen, and we had a fabulous time. And did I tell you about, we met up with this Austrian family, the Shits? So I understand that we might actually meet up with them again this year. So my skiing holiday is going to be full of shits. The kids are the worst. No manners. Ignorant little shits. To Junior Stevens, evening everyone. And Rusty Mouse, Andrew James, were you there? Oh, I say. Honestly, while I'm talking to you, there's 20 million things going through my head, and most of them I can't even repeat here. Even with code words, I can't repeat here. Must be the hibiscus. Andrew James, he does hit that perfect beat with that. Oh yeah, you were saying I was. What was I wearing? Yeah, AA Dancer de Bronsky beat in Tarzan pants. You'd heard the rumour, Andrew James. Well, I never thought the photograph would get out. Do you know have you ever heard the story about the News of the World? Right, just be gentle with me because I'm going to get this out without actually incriminating myself and having any legal stuff. But talking about... no, I can't. I'm going to have to think about this. So I'm aware of a photograph of... you heard the phrase too posh to nosh? Well, I'm aware of a photograph that was taken of two very well-known celebrities, two very, 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 very well-known celebrities, one giving, one taking, on their front step. And the News of the World had, had the picture. It had to be bought and destroyed. Oh. I can't tell you who it was. No. Can't tell you who it was, but that's genuine. I mean, in some circles, it's a great story to trot out at polite parties, if they're ever too posh to nosh. Yeah, Bronsky beat, hit that perfect beat. What was the other one? Tell Me Why. That's a great song. Bronsky beat. Or was that Jimmy Somerville on his own? No, I think it was Bronsky beat. Bronsky beat were all that. And who was the... I'm sure in Bronsky beat, it was Jimmy Somerville on vocals, and wasn't it the Reverend something or other? Clive Cole, Reverend Cole, who was on piano. And I just saw a piece in the newspaper the other day about the now, I don't know whether he's been, not defrocked, he's just retired, but can I ask you a question? How do you retire from being a man of the cloth? I mean, I know I touch cloth every now and again, but being a man of the cloth. Hang on, I've got a bit of hibiscus flower in my mouth. Ew, lovely. No, it was hibiscus flower before you say anything, you tart. Andrew James is on it this evening. He's very funny. Does he hit that perfect beat? Yes, absolutely. John Honeyford. Oh, Adrian, yeah. Wrong. Apologies for not being able to watch live, but you know, the World Darts is on. I will register my thumbs up before I leave. Have a good one. Thank you, John. See you on Sunday, because the next live is going to be the 7th of January, Christmas Day. Oh, shall we all dress up again? Shall we have mince pies and things? Did you have turkey for Christmas? Just a little aside. Did you have turkey for Christmas? Because I can't think of... Everybody goes, oh, turkey. And then the Americans for Thanksgiving, oh, turkey. And when my sister said, I'm having turkey. And I'm like, oh, I'm not. Oh, what do you want? Oh, turkey's the worst meat in the world. If it's cooked wrong, it's like cardboard. Hey, don't like it. No, don't like it. Where am I? Hang on. Dan Payne. What? Dan Payne, watering the garden and stoking up the fire for a cup of tea. Dan, it's pitch black out there. What are you doing? Peeping Tom or something? And as I walk to my paper shop every morning, obviously there's a lot of kids that still are looking forward to Father Christmas next year, and they've still got the lights and stuff up, and one of them has got like a Father Christmas doll thing on some ladders, and for most of the Christmas festivities it's had its face on the window looking in, and I just thought to myself, well, I never. Father Christmas, Peeping Tom. I think they call them cuckolds now, don't they? They hide in the wardrobe or something. Johnny Stevens, evening, Adrian. Happy New Year to you and to Mrs. Allen. Junior Stevens, you're very kind. You got in there before me. Lack of manners, I presume, on my behalf. But Happy New Year to you too. Happy New Year to everyone that supported the channel and has been here for numerous lives. But I really do appreciate it. Because these lives are hard work. They take about 2 days to prep, man. And I don't get paid a penny for it. Lovely. Right, it looks like I've got about 3 cups of hibiscus in that particular large pot. So I better crack on, man. Simon John Lavender. Evening, Adrian. Dan Plate. Oi, oi. Junior Stevens. The broader the better. Oh, you tart. Mad Matt UK. Good to see you, Mad Matt. Hey up, Adrian. You're wrong. Wrong. Andy Turner. Welcome, Bungle. Andy. Foxtrot Oscar, man. It was funny the first time. Hang on. Tower Block Tracy. Oh! Tower Block Tracy. TBT's missing. Last seen under a French waiter. Tart. Gary Darcy. Happy New Year from Edinburgh. Happy New Year, Gary. I did, you know, Hogmanay looked busy on Princess Street for New Year's Eve. And I remember working New Year's Eve in 2 guises. One I'm not going to talk about now, but one was in radio. Can you remember in Edinburgh, Gary? I don't know how long you've been there, but can you remember when there was really bad wind? I mean, all these Storm Henk or whatever. It's like the Stormageddon. And I keep saying this, but while I was in Scotland and the Scots had what was it called? Borbag. No, that's not you, Gary. I mean the storm. They had much more aggressive storms in Scotland, and the Scots just went, oh, better put my big coat on. And like the English are like, oh my God, we're all going to die. It's Stormageddon. How we're going to be able to handle Henk with 2 hands? So I'm told. But there was a year where the storm was so bad that they had to cancel the Hogmanay celebrations on Princess Street. It was up to about 500,000 at one point. I mean, 500,000 people on Princess Street. Go and George Street. Whoa, that's and so I was reporting for Talk 107 radio station in in Edinburgh, Gary, and we reported on the wins for Hogmanay that cancelled it, which was such a shame. But I have many, 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 many fabulous memories from living in Scotland. And if there's any of the Scots that I know watching this evening, oh, you're wrong. Lots of people, do you know, social media is wonderful because a lot of people who I may have lost contact with over the years are getting in touch and trying to keep up with all the emails and stuff. Is just, on the one sense, it is fabulous. On the other sense, it's like, oh, blimey, have I got time? Good to see Vivian Kenyon's in the house. Good evening, Adrian. Soz missed last chat, but here now. So let's get cracking. Missed ya. Vivian Diallo. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too, Vivian. Much appreciated. So to everyone that's in the Kirk, as they call it in Scotland, Happy New Year, 2024. And it feels already like 2024 is going to be 2023 on steroids because it was a bit mad, 2023. 2024, we'll talk about some of it tonight. I mean, well, we're only on the 3rd and it's going mad, I tell thee, mad. To Andrew James, double A, as a wife, and had Sunderland. AB had the grumbleweeds. You can say that, Andrew, but I can't possibly comment. Well, I can, but it would take me half an hour. Julie B. Evening, Adrian. Evening, Julie. Good to have you in. Andy Turner, see the fireworks in London. Cost us a lot of money. Oh, the arrogant old tart. Mayor Carnage. He had to get a mention, didn't he? He had to get a mention in those bloody fireworks. And, I mean, to be fair, in relative terms to the rest of the world, they weren't bad. But they were still woke stuff. It makes me swear, man. It just makes me swear. I mean, some of it was beautiful, but it was woke. Even Charlie, sausage fingers, keeps Camilla happy, but do you know, he's in there, and then Mayor Carnage is at the front going, oh, I'm the Mayor of London. Ostra, go away. Oh, you made me spill me hibiscus tea. He's a bloody idiot, that man. Bloody idiot. That'll calm me down. Who else? Oh, Dame Anna. Sorry, nearly forgot. Happy New Year, Mr. and Mrs. Allen. Here's to a stonking 2024. I love a good stonk, myself, Dame Anna. When it's stonking, I'm a very happy boy. Tina Silver, in Egypt, Christmas is on 7th of January. Yeah, because it's the Julian calendar. Not the Julian, but the Julian. The emphasis is on the wrong syllable. So we morphed over to the Gregorian to go to 12 months when Egypt must still have 13. Honestly, this hibiscus tea is just marvellous. I think I might just cut the live and sit here with a smile on my face drinking hibiscus. Madman Adrian, do you drink alcohol at home? I used to, but I only drink socially now. Yeah, I used to. I prefer just having a couple of snifters out with the chaps or socially. I did say this in one of the videos. I don't know about you, and after New Year, Mrs. Allen and I just had a cheeky little livener, but it was so dull. I mean, Jules Holland, retire, mate, retire. Just go on tour with Ruby Turner. It's fine. But the Hoot Nanny, if I may be so bold, it was shite, mate. I mean, I know that's quite strong, but Rod Stewart, the Englishman, who's like a professional Scotsman. Oh, yeah, I had trials for, was it Rangers? Or was that the chef? And Rod Stewart's English. He was born in England. How can he be bloody Scots? And there he is on the Hoot Nanny. And then I was going to tell you a story about... So I was working for... I told you about working for Fired and Liberty 963 in London, which was based initially just off the Edgware Road with Jazz FM in London. And, I mean, growing up, I grew up in Sunderland. So the only time you would ever see celebs is normally on the telly, on the Groove Tube, or in magazines and newspapers. So for me, when I've lived in London a few times, but when I've, with an old girlfriend, went to Parliament Square, I remember coming out of Parliament Tube and just seeing Big Ben in front of me. And that's not a euphemism before you start. I saw Big Ben in front of me and it was just like, whoa, wow, that's like just there. So working in Liberty 963, we shared the building with Jazz FM, and there were some great broadcasters in the building. I mean, we had some fabulous names. And Pat Sharp, Bruno Brooks, Simon Bates, God, just loads and loads of Anthea Turner and Zoe Ball and loads of people, names who worked there. But on Jazz FM, the one that really sort of did me, there was two people, and one I'll get to in a second, but the other one was Paul Jones. Remember Paul Jones, the singer with Manfred Mann? It wasn't the Earth Band then, it was just Manfred Mann. And he was the singer with them. And they had some fabulous songs. Some, I mean, just proper, wonderful little pop songs. And Paul Jones was the singer. And I used to walk into the studio, like the production studio. You had a bucket ordinarily because there were so many people wanting to get in the studio to record bits and pieces. So I would, as one of the bosses there, would just walk in every now and again, just like, oh, I need the studio, out. And Paul Jones was in there on his own. So I walked in about to go, oi, sling your hook. And it was like, oh, hello, Paul. And it's very rarely that celebrity would have any effect on me. But just seeing Paul Jones, and Paul Jones was only ever on the telly in the Groove Tube. So then I see him doing the Hootenanny, and it was like, who decided to, no, Paul, man. I mean, it was, for an old boy who's probably not done it for a while, sing, that is, before you start. It was lovely to see him. But I think back 25 years thinking, blimey, no, I'm not going to be disingenuous. Good on him for getting, I mean, it's not easy. And it was recorded beginning of December. I seem to remember. I tried to get into the audience, but obviously my submission for, give us a couple of tickets. I want to come down for the Hootenanny. They took one look at it and gone, oh my Lord, not Adrian Allen. Tell him to, Oscar. Yeah, Dayman is correct. Well, Bovril, where's the fun in good behaviour? Cool. So long as I don't get you arrested, then everything else is fine. So, on the one hand, we just wanted to watch the fireworks and then go to bed because, our days of Trip in the Night Fantastic are not necessarily gone, but, sometimes you just think, oh, I'd rather have an early morning in the morning, get up and get me stuff done. Wow. Andrew James said, Paul Jones is a complex man. I heard he's a difficult man to be around. My record dealer knows him. Well, do you know, Andrew, I can only speak as I see or as I experienced. And he was nothing but a gentleman to me. Mind you, back in the day, I didn't mess around. It was like, oi, go off. And a lot of people, the talent that are real talent can be difficult sometimes. So they need a strong person to manage them. And I've told you about Simon Bates fondling my sphericals over the desk one day. And it was like, oi, Bates, you do that again, I'll rip your arms off and shove the soggy ends up your arse. Didn't do it again. Took me out for lunch. But you see, talent needs a strong character to say, enough, do that again, you're going to get it. And I think Paul Jones might be one of those strong characters. He's been world famous. I mean, literally, that level of fame comes to very few people. And I just every time I went in the studio, he was around, he was like, hello, Adrian. Hello, Paul, how are you? Oh, yeah, all right, yeah. But to anybody else, he might have been a bit of a grumpy old tart. But we can all be that. We can all be, somebody gets us out of the wrong side of bed every day. And you can just go, oh, yeah, just... And your Tourette's kicking. And off you go. I mean, I am responding to the comments, but I really should get stuck into all the stuff that I've prepared, considering I've been talking for 25 minutes. Oh, very my life. Junior Stevens, I bet Jules Holland's nan was a hoot. Junior Stevens, where did you dredge that up from? Funny effort, though. Talblock Tracy, petition online to free the Belfield. Yeah, just pull the zip down. Mr. John Up, Mighty Quinn, come all without, come all within. Is that Mighty Quim, Mr. John Up? I bet they were singing that. I bet he was on stage going, oh, Mighty Quim, come all without, come all within. You can tell I can't sing. Why do you think I became a disc jockey? Can't sing, can't play a bloody instrument. Bovril took out to lunch. Even Adrian has his price. A very good point. Very good point. But no, I think he was more scared than anything. And I was like, why is he taking me out to lunch? He took me to some dodgy kebab place around the corner from Radio 1. And I was like, well, Bates, why are you bringing me here? Oh, just a bit of gossip, love, bit of gossip. And I was like, I haven't got any. But we sat there, had an hour. He obviously thought I was never going to tell anybody about him fondling my spherical. Doesn't come across like that on TV. Andrew James, I met him after a gig last year. He was nice towards and has a firm handshake. Oh, I say. Junior Stevens, I remember watching Funhouse, presented by Pat Sharp, when I was younger. What a great show that was. Do you know, I haven't got a bad word to say against Pat Sharp. He's an absolute gentleman. And I do hope Pat hears about this, and because he had a torrid time a few months ago. And, you know, running a radio station is quite difficult when you've got challenging characters, and there were a few, but Pat was just a delight to work with, absolute delight. Great company, great radio presenter, and he told me a story once about he'd been working for Capital, and they were going to get rid of him, and Richard Park took him out for a walk, and the quote was, Pat, because Richard was a weege, I don't load the bullets, Pat. I just pull the trigger. You're fired. And poor Pat, I mean, he was like, just, he had a level of fame, still working as a DJ, but a gentleman and a scholar, real nice guy. But, you know, I'm sure you can kind of drudge somebody up from somewhere and say, oh, he was a really boring, grumpy old tart, that Adrian Allen. Oh, no, he's never smiling, he's never... You know, I might have been just having a bad day, or at that point, the girlfriend might have told me I wasn't on a promise, or, you know, anything. And then I go out and somebody goes, oh, give us an autograph. Oh, yeah, mate. Talblock Tracy, my Quim has a mullet. That's why it's the Mighty Quim. Talblock Tracy. Bovril. Okay, the Dame Hannah. Steve Panks. Not Steve Panks, man. Is that not Steve Pank from Key? Gary Darcy. Keep seeing your 97.3 picture and think I'm off Radio 4th. No, that's LBC, that one. Hang on, can you... No, it's that one. Across that shoulder. So, top of my head, Century 106 East Midlands. The picture that side was in reception of Rock FM in Preston, and that one was in the boardroom at LBC. It's fine. The managing director said, oh, you can take it, Adrian. We're going to have it redecorated if you wanted. It was going to go in the skip. Oh, right, all right, boss, I'll have a bit of that. So what we're going to talk about tonight. And Mrs. Allen has given me carte blanche. I said, oh, I'm only going to be about an hour tonight. I don't really have much to talk about. She said, yeah, I've heard that one before. Take as long as you want. You're not under a curfew. So we'll keep going until Friday then. So I did think about having... Alexa, have I worked out how to ask you multiple questions?
I don't know that.
Oh, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
So it works. So yesterday, much to the team's chagrin that work on this channel, they said, "Oh, are you going to get this done? Are you going to get this done?" I said, "No, I'm in the middle of working out with Alexa. I'm not going to ask anything, but I am going to ask multiple questions later on. Are you ready?"
Sorry, I'm not sure.
You never are. So, Alexa is called the wake word. And turn me down if you've got Alexa on in the background. Alexa is the wake word, and you can go into the settings. It took me bloody ages. But so you can ask multiple questions. So I can say, "Alexa, don't go all huffy on me, man." Alexa, really? Do you know what will wake you up, Alexa? Diamond cutter. Hang on, I'm not quite sure what's going on in the comment, but Alexa. So that's the wake word, and then you can set it.
I don't have an answer for that.
I didn't ask you anything. I've got stuff.
Sorry, I thought I heard my name.
You did, but it didn't mean you had to respond. I've got stuff to talk about, so stop messing about. So you do the wake word, and then after that, you can ask multiple questions without saying the wake word again, which is why she's nagging. So I thought about doing Ask Alexa Anything. We might leave that till Sunday for a bit of a giggle. But tonight we're talking about Harry, the thick cuck. That's with a U, not two O's. Ponce Andrew. The stuff going on in the royal family. I do believe that now the royal family are just stoking it so that they get loads of press coverage. Now, I don't know whether they're a bit off their rocker, because, you know, all that inbreeding and stuff. But it's... So the latest one is Harry has said to King Charles, "Dad, are you not upset you're not going to meet your grandchildren?" And he's like, "This is a grown man. We know what the deal is, Harry, mate. We know what the deal is." Sorry, Henry. That's your proper name. I don't have to call you Harry. So he's you know, these people that use their kids as bargaining chips, emotional bargaining chips with parents or relatives or friends, and you just think they have so much money, so much privilege, and they're still trying to this passive aggressive nonsense of "Dad, don't you want to see your grandchildren?" Who's that? "It's your son, Harry." "No, I've only got one son." So Harry wants to be known as HRH. Oh, I'm sure he does. Now that Queen Elizabeth II has gone, who said, "No, you can't use your HRH. You can't use that styling." No. So they haven't. And now that his dad's on the throne, somebody he thinks is his dad is on the throne, he wants to call me His Royal Highness. No, you're not allowed to use that, Harry, mate. You might be a blood prince, but you can't use it. Princess Meghan wants to use it. You know what she can do? Go sailing again. And I hear that that Meghan wants to have a picture. She wanted to have a picture of Archie with the Queen, but not happening. So now Meghan wants a picture of Archie, who's coming up 5 years old. Wants to have a picture with old sausage fingers and Meghan, because she can flog that for loads of money. Now, as far as I'm aware, according to Yahoo News, they're about 28 million in debt. So they've got to start grifting somehow. They've got to start. Maybe she should go back on the boat. Probably make that much. "Don't you want to see your grandchildren? That's the bloody spawn of the devil." What? In my view, obviously. I mean, nobody's been allowed to see the kids. Nobody knows whether they're hers or his. More likely his. But here's the thing. I've been watching this Stephen Colbert interview with Harry from January 2023, because now it's 2024, we've got to use that. And Harry, in that interview, starts talking about, "Alexa, find Chuck Norris."
If Chuck Norris wants you to know where he is, he'll find you. If he doesn't, you won't know until it's too late.
Brilliant. So he's being interviewed by Stephen Colbert on The Late Show, and he drops this absolute howler, because January 23, when did the opera thing take place? 22. So it was almost a year after, and like a month or so before he released Spare. So you know what the whole furore was about. There's a member of the royal family who questioned the colour of Archie's skin. So there's Daft Lad, Brillo pad head. Have you seen it? He's not mine. I've got next to nout. But he's a royal and he can buy anything he wants and have anything or anybody he wants, almost. Don't go down that route, Adrian. Don't believe you. So he says to Stephen Colbert, "Oh yeah, we were just wondering when Archie was born whether he would have the Spencer ginger gene." You know what I'm saying to you here, don't you? Wonder if he's got the Spencer ginger gene, or whether he would have Meghan's colouring. Now, hang on a second. Do you know what he's just done right there? He's done exactly the same thing that he's been accusing members of the royal family and or Meghan via Omid no scruples. He's done exactly the same thing. And yet they point to the accusatory finger at the royal family. That boy, if you blew up his nose, he'd go off like a referee's whistle. He's that thick. And yet the rest of the world didn't cotton on to it. They didn't. So I just think the royal family they bring this drama on purpose. It's almost to make them feel like they're relevant. Look, the best thing that can happen is, Queen Margarita. Is that how you pronounce it? Queen Margarita of Denmark, who's just going, right, lads, it's New Year's Day, so I'm off. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's not just me holidays. It's a permanent holiday. Where's me son? Frederick, tell Fred he's in charge now, so I'm off. Bye. And she's legged it. Now, a year ago, she took loads of titles off some of the periphery royals who weren't very happy, but they couldn't be called. Alexa, what's the value of pi?
The approximate value of pi is 3.141592653358979323846626. Yowza. This goes on forever.
Do you ever shut up? Obviously. So the Spencers don't have a ginger gene. Duke of Argyll does. Oh, told you before. And is that the same as wondering if the kids are going to have Meghan's colouring? You can't make it up, man, can you? It's drama for drama's sake. And so Queen Marguerite, she's legged it. She's just gone, oh man, the drama, I've had enough. I'm off. Up yours, I'm leaving. And she's gone. She's abdicated. Now, that was like a year ago when she was taking everybody's titles off them. She was obviously setting the whole thing up. Didn't tell anybody. And then a year later, New Year's Day, off you go. I've been to church. I'm gone. Right. Where's all those little eunuchs? Brilliant. Top of 69 said Alexa's just repeated. Must have been the pickled onions. So I just think now that they're turning into clown world. They're just turning into an irrelevance. Because I've said this to you before. I don't know about you, and you can tell me in the comments. I want a regal royal family. I love the pomp and the circumstance, love it. And I have met some of the royal family. I have worked for the royal family, but I'm not going to go into that now. At one point, I do intend to tell you the stories. I do. can't quite do it yet. But will Charles be having the conversations with Camilla? Oh, darling, I wish I was a tampon. Well, it was Squidgygate and Tampongate, wasn't it? Can you not remember that? Ain't old enough. Pump and circumcise. That's Talbot Tracy. Oh, GB Patriots in the house, creating drama to monetize it as the Harkles are skint. Well, yeah, they do. They do. Oh, Junior Stevens. Yeah, wrong. Was Queen Margarita, Queen of the Pizzas. They do say there was the colour of the dress that she wore to make her announcement was picked on purpose. I'll let you do the research. Uptight, out of sight, and in the groove. That was Charlie when he was on the phone to Camilla. Oh, Camilla, darling, darling. So maybe you should ask Camilla, but Camilla, I mean, she would have only been queen or queen consort for like 5 minutes. She might want to be queen for like 20 years or something. But Charlie, being Prince of Wales and having all that opulence, might just want to kick it into the long grass and go, oh, Camilla, man, how are you? Let's just get in the car and disappear. Is Hewitt bigger than Charles? Hewitt's not even Harry's dad. I mean, neither's Charles, but James Hewitt's not Harry's dad. Duke of Argyll. Duke of Argyll. What's the Duke of Argyll? And I have a picture somewhere of them side by side, and it's like scary. It is proper scary. I mean, they're all at that level, they're all inbreds, so there's obviously a touch of the ginger brush and all that kind of stuff going on. But fancy using your kids to emotionally manipulate the king and or the queen. His brother's not up for that. She's not. Sorry, he's not. That's not a Freudian slip before you start. But it was him talking to Stephen Colbert. And I saw it and I just thought, hang on, you've accused the royal family of that, yet you do it, and everybody's like, oh, it's funny. It's funny. No, it's not. It's the same thing. Yeah, exactly, Gary. Gary Darcy's just said using them as weapons. I completely get that. I mean, they're monetizing them. They have to, because everything they touch turns to the brown stuff. It does. It's their own stupid fault. They believed that they were up and beyond anybody else on planet Earth. They believed that they were special people, and yet they've got nothing. So they write a book. Yeah, all right, it's Harry's book, so it sells a few. And then Omid Scruples, he comes by, does another Endgame book. It's only sold 44,000 worldwide. 44,000 worldwide. Bet that's lower than his advance for the book. I bet he was given after Finding Freedom, which sold quite a few, I'm sure he was given a fairly decent watch to write this Endgame. Who's got egg on the face now? Is it Omid or is it actually the publishers? Tower Block Tracy. Orkida. Where are you? Don't know. Damn pain. Adrian, after my ex divorced me, her now husband, who's a lawyer, and her kids, and her used my kids against me too. It takes the absolute pee and is unforgivable. Was real hard at Christmas. Oh, I feel for you, Dan. I feel your pain. But what's Charles to do? What is he to do? Is he to kind of get hold of Harry and go, here, pack that in? Or one of his servants to bang his head together and just say, no, Henry, stop that. He's kind of stuck between the devil and the deep blue sea. Have you noticed poor who ate all the pies? Poor Wayne Rooney. I mean, he was supremely fit. And now, blimey, you couldn't get him in a barrel. I mean, I don't know whether it's like you can, because you're playing sport at such a high level, you can literally eat anything you want and it just burns off. And then you get to a certain age where the body just goes, got ya, no. A minute on the lips, inch on the hips, or whatever the saying is. But it's I don't know whether you heard about this, but it's ridiculous that BBC Sport, they did a, well, it wasn't funny, but it was an attempt at being funny. They did a tweet of Wayne Rooney dressed as a Peaky Blinder character, following he's been sacked the other day by Birmingham City, and just 15 minutes later, Gary Lineker was like, "Delete this." Why did they take any notice of Gary Lineker? Why didn't they just say, "Here, Lineker, up yours"? Who are you? The Director General? Oh, yeah, well, maybe. But, so, supposing BBC Sport had demanded he delete one of his heavily politicised tweets, would he have taken any notice? No, not at all. He doesn't even take any notice of the Director General. I mean, clearly, Lineker runs the joint, as in the BBC. And all of this on our money. I mean, surely this has got to... I don't know whether anybody's seen that, where you delete this. So they deleted this tweet about Wayne Rooney. I mean, there's no truth in the rumour. He's got the perfect job now. Works in Greggs. All those pies and sausage rolls. And I must wish the nation of Japan well. Because, like, we're 3 days in. How tight have Japan had it since the new year? I mean, poor Japan. I do revere Japan because obviously my ninjutsu training, my martial arts. But they've had an earthquake. They've had other bits and pieces happening. But how on earth did it's? I don't know about you, but literally when I saw the footage of the plane at Tokyo Airport on fire on the runway, you just kind of go, whew, there by the grace of God. And whenever you're coming into land, I mean, I'm not a nervous flyer at all, but you just think, I wonder what would happen if, and that I wonder what would happen if happened at Tokyo Airport. How they survived that plane crash. They literally had 90 seconds to get everybody off before it went up in flames. That wonderful, amazing. The professionalism of the cabin crew, it's always very understated, and some people take the mickey out of them, but they've got an awful job dealing with the public like me and you. But to just get everybody calm and go, right, this is what we need to do. Let's get everybody off now. And you know when they're saying, right, watch what we're going to tell you. There's like exit doors there. And you've got to pay attention. And if you're a frequent flyer, you just kind of go, oh, behave, man, I've heard all this before. Well, there have been people like that on that Japanese airline. How on earth they survived that, I'll never, ever know. But it's good to see that globalism hasn't affected Japan's heritage. It's refreshing to see that kamikaze aircraft are still thriving in Japan. Are you aware that the government are trying to stick it up you? Are you aware? Now, you know, these Tory crooks, they're trying to make sure that any death duty, heritage duty, whatever it's called, doesn't come their way. So they're pulling things left, right and centre so they don't have to pay like millions. They're saying that Rishi Sunak might have to pay 292 million. Well, that may be so if he's registered here for tax and if he's not a non-dom, but I guarantee you he'll turn around and go, me missus got all the money. Not me. Oh, I've not got anything. 292 million quid he'd save. So they're after you for your little side hustle. You know, when you're selling those little bits and pieces on eBay or some of the social sites. And you're just trying to make the odd shekel or 10. Well, HMRC, the Grim Reaper, have brought in new rules from 2 days ago, January the 1st, 2024. They want to crack down on tax evasion. Well, look, if you want to crack down on tax evasion, go and look at all the crooks in the Pink Palace who are doing this country for billions. Oh, I'll give you 2 words. Michel Mon. So if you do some of these sites, anything over £1,000 has to be declared to be taxed. £1,000. I mean, I know that's a bit of work, but don't take much. If you sell 10 things at 100 quid, if you've got 10 things worth 100 quid, then you can make £1,000 quite easy. Death duties on the super rich won't be affected, will they? No, don't be silly. They're sitting there laughing their caps off. Oh, let's get the little people, the great unwashed. Let's tell them you can't make any more than £1,000. Because remember, you won't own anything, but you'll be happy. You'll be happy. That's what they've told you. So they've got to make sure that, A, you don't get paid much. Talk about junior doctors. And then if you don't get paid much, you can't make much on your little side hustle. If you start to make money, oh, they'll come after you. They will come after you. So as of January the 1st, platforms such as Vinted, Depop, Etsy and eBay will be required to collect information about how much money people are making and then report this to HMRC, the Grim Reaper. Now, anyone selling on those sites making more than £1,000 and not declaring could be open to fines. Now, it'll be interesting to see whether they do this or not, because the crooks in the Pink Palace, the clowns in Clown World, they're literally just there, filling their pockets full of the greenbacks. They've got their snouts firmly in the trough of making money. I mean, knock, knock. Who's there? David. David who? Ah, well, that's what happens when Rishi Sunak sends you abroad to make a few bob. So people can earn up to £1,000 in additional income each tax year. April to March, covering sales made outside of your day-to-day job. Above this, online sellers must register as self-employed and file a self-assessment tax return at the end of the financial year. Now, so this headline has sort of gone out there where you can't make any money. No, that present that Andy Ethel gave you that's worth like 20 quid, you'd rather have the 20 quid from eBay. I sold something the other day on eBay for 100 quid. Have you seen how much they charge nowadays? Like, I lost nearly 20 quid of that. And I was like, hang on, at least Dick Turpin wore a mask. What are you taking that much money for? Never going to sell on eBay again. I'd rather take it down to the local pub and go, oh, lads, anybody want some vinyl? It's a bit like Double Jeopardy. Do you know the premise of Double Jeopardy? You can't be tried twice for the same crime. Surely you can't be taxed on the same money. So, well, we'll use 100 quid as an arbitrary figure. So you buy a bike for 100 quid. So that money that you've used to buy that bike has already been taxed by the grubby oiks in the Pink Palace. Then you sell the bike because you might not need it anymore after about 5 years. So you sell it for 20 quid. How can they tax the 20 quid when it's already been spent on a bike for 100 quid? So can you set the 100 quid bike against your tax liability? It's just complicated for the sake of complication. How on earth can they still tax you on something that cost you more than the money that you've earned in the first place? I mean, these people are idiots. And like, okay, so the Prime Monster, 292 million he'd save. Death duties. So how many of us selling stuff for like up to £1,000 is it going to take to make 292 million? So just go after the big fish. Don't go after the little ones because you're not going to make tiddlers. You're not going to make money. Get after them. As I've said, I've got 2 words for you. Baroness Moon. Or Dougie, her husband. Start taxing them. Andrew James, is there PayPal fees on top of the eBay fees? I think they just put it, do they put it straight in your bank account? I don't know. I mean, I put a vinyl piece up there 3 years ago and it sold in December, thankfully. And I think eBay take about 10% and I think PayPal take about 5%. In all, it's about 15, 16%. The old Bovril says, go after Mrs. Sunak. Yeah, the non-dom who said, oh no, I live in California. No. Yeah, my husband's going to be Prime Minister, but I live in California, so that's where my taxes are related. Don't talk about Infosys in India. I mean, how can they... they're just evil. There's no words. These people are just evil. What are they doing? They're pointing the finger at me and you. We're busting our buns day in, day out just to put, a bit of dinner on the table, and they're laughing at us, laughing. And the thing is, you can't, and I know I keep going on about the general election, but you can't really look at the general election and go, got them, let's get rid of them, because you get rid of them, and it doesn't matter who you vote for, the government always gets in. So when they get in, there's Keir Starmer going to go, we got them now, got them for another 4 years, we can do anything we want. I mean, the Tories were bad enough because they'll say to you, and I can literally write their script, at least, 13 years of Tory rule, that's what's ruined the country. We're just going to do the best we can. So they're going to borrow left, right and centre and have this country in a mountain of debt. I mean, an unreal mountain of debt. Because they can do whatever they want. We haven't had a revolution in this country for 1,000 years. What do you reckon? But, the clowns, they're trying to distract you with moral indignation. That's what they're trying to do. They simply can't police what they're going to do with you. They call it side hustle. I mean, it's kind of like the kids. Yeah, I've got a side hustle. Mate, get out and get a job. Have a skill. Yeah, you're talking to a man that just gobs off for a living, or used to. But they murky the waters by putting out the top line into the mainstream media. So they'll say to you, you earn £1,000, you start paying tax. And then when you start to dig into it, actually, that's not the truth. That's the top line, that's the headline. But actually, HMRC says people selling possessions they no longer want are unlikely to owe tax if it's a one-off and done occasionally and sold for less than £6,000. So, is that cumulative? Or is it a one-off? If I sell somebody's car for less than £6,000, do I pay tax on that? If you sell your car for more than £1,000? What? It just murkies the water. So what they do, they give you the headline, then they give you the detail, and you go, whoa, hang on a second, that's a bit confusing. Why can't you just be straight? Because they don't want to be straight. Great song by Ian Dury and the Blockheads. They don't want to be straight. They just want to be arseholes. So some people will turn around and say, this is a double tax on hard-working people. Yet inheritance tax for people, the already wealthy or rich, inheriting over 325 grand has been abolished. I thought it was, so two parents, they're allowed 320 each, it's 600 and odd. And who benefits? Business. Not me and you, the people that are trying to make the odd shekel. The all Bovril, Adrian, how soon before you start the live phone-ins? I'm not going to put a date on it, but it's down to the technical stuff. I'll tell you. No, I'm not going to. I won't tell anybody here because there's other YouTubers that go, "Oh, he's giving me all my answers." But it is absolutely, categorically, definitely going to happen. And the minute that we've worked some, because basically you call a telephone number, and I'm really not a fan of somebody calling a telephone number and getting straight to air. Needs to be a safety net. Legally, I get all that. There is something called live defense, but the purpose of the phone-in is so that people can have their story heard. That's going to be the premise. Any subject, any time. But it is coming. It is coming. I got told off the other day saying, Adrian, you keep saying that this phone is coming so it's Father Christmas and he's 52 weeks away. the Jacobite Jordan Peterson says the UK will look like Venezuela under Starmer. Would you agree? I think it'll be Venezuela under the European Union when Starmer gets in. So he's already said, no, I'm going to let 100,000 come in. America has had over 7 million illegal immigrants get into it. I mean, I know America's a big place and they've got, 350 million people in America. But 7 million people, where do they go? And do you know, we have homeless on our streets, except when there's a pandemic. We didn't have anybody on the streets. Where did they go? Were the government looking after them? And if the government were looking after the homeless, why aren't they looking after them now? Because you can have baronesses make 60 million profit. 60 million would look after loads of homeless. They literally don't care. They don't care. And, me saying something or you saying something or me voting one way or you voting another way, it's absolutely, as Ken Livingstone said, if voting changed anything, they'd abolish it. GB Patriot, Black Swan event coming soon, Adrian. My guess is large Middle Eastern bankers war. Yeah, all I'm going to say is I'm aware of stuff. And one of the things I don't want to do is I don't want to bring it here yet. But don't worry, I will tell you my sources. And I just, to be able to get you understanding with context, 2024 is going to be 2023 on steroids. Dan Payne says, after the first lot of new births in the country and those kids grow to hate, where are they? That's the end. Dame Anna, when will you do the video? Thank you, Norman Taylor. Good match then. I know a lot more than I bring to these lives. And sometimes I just wish I could tell you. Sometimes I'm not allowed. Sometimes it would scare you. But I just know that there's going to be a Black Swan event 2024. You can hold me to it. They're all here. I'm not deleting anything. But Adrian, who remembers the ITV phone-in show, Talking Telephone Numbers, presented by Philip Schofield? Yeah, it was pants. Oh, yes. Tal Block Tracy, thank you for the aid memoir. Blimey, it's been going an hour and I haven't got anything done. Smash the thumbs. Smash the thummy things if you could, please. There's 100 at the moment. And we've only got 68, if my eyesight's correct. No, we'll leave the XL bullies. I'll do a video on that in the morning. Dame Anna, I have to scope that particular video out because I've got to be very careful about what I say and what I don't say. What I can say is my own personal experience because I've experienced it and nobody can question that. But some of the... All I'm going to say is I know what I know, and it will be in the video. Everything that I know will be in the video when we get around to it. Do you know, I kind of want to round off with a little bit of positivity because I watch. There's two things I want to end on. One in 10 toupees get blown off was the headline this morning. There's nothing better than getting blown off. But was it Storm Henk? We're up to 8 already. We've only had 3 days in January 2024. We're up to Storm Henk. And yeah, some people are asking what a Black Swan event is. A Black Swan event is an unpredictable event that is beyond what is normally expected of a situation and has potentially severe consequences. Yeah. All I will say is I've been briefed a few times about stuff, and I'm aware of things. And I do look. They're giving you choice. You think you've got choice? Oh yeah, right. We'll get rid of the Tories and we'll put Starmer in. Is that really choice? When they know who you're going to vote for next time, they can predict all that, so that they'll get you like sheep to vote one way. And I've explained to you the difference between the political classes and the priestly classes. The priestly classes had all the power because they were next to godliness. So you could only access God through the priestly classes. And the other day I know William Tyndall translated the Bible from the original Aramaic and Latin and Greek and put it into English from a pauper to from a plowboy to a king. And William Tyndall translated it all. But the Catholic Church was so brassed off with Tyndall, they burned him at the stake for heresy. They found him in Europe. He legged it off to Holland, I think it was. And they got him, brought him back, and burned him at the stake for heresy. And then James the First went, "Ooh, I quite like that version of the Bible." And Rome went, "Oh, well, if you put your name to it, then that's all right." Hang on a second. You burn a man at the stake for heresy, and because he's a king saying, "I quite like that version of the Bible," you'll allow him to publish the version that was translated for which he was burned at the stake. That's power for you. So the priestly classes they're just, messing with kids now. But they have no say. I think Catholicism is done because of what they've allowed themselves to do in the name of God. Not my God, their version of God. And you have these evil... let's get away from that. So priestly classes are done, finished, over with. Now you've got the political classes that are controlling everything. They control the way you think. They control the way you act. They control the way you go, what you do, and why you do it. Everything. They know what you're going to do. So I will guarantee you that the political classes are making hay while the sun shines. They know roughly when the general election is going to be, but they can't be sure. It's either going to be May or October, one of the two. I'm going with May. It's getting closer. And now that Nigel Farage is out the jungle and he's playing the political games now. So the political classes are the ones that, and what I was going to tell you was I visited Westminster Abbey a while ago, and they had this exhibition, and within the exhibition they had stuff by William Tyndall, and I was like, hang on a second, this is a Catholic church, the Westminster Cathedral, Catholicism, and they are presenting some stuff from William Tyndall, and I think it was one of these illuminated Bibles, and I was like, hang on a second, you burned him at the stake. You can't suddenly go, "Oh, I think we got that one wrong." You burned a guy at the stake for your own political ends. And now you're putting some of his work on display in one of your cathedrals. I mean, that's just abject evil. And I saw the name William Tyndall and I was like, holy Jesus, what are they doing with this? I mean, Westminster Cathedral is breathtaking. I mean, over 1,000 years of history. It's breathtaking. And some of the people they have in Westminster Cathedral, off the top of my head, they've got Stephen Hawking. He's in there, even though they said like 100 years ago, no, we're not burying any more in Westminster Cathedral. You did. Some of the great poets, Dylan, some of the great names, 30 kings and queens. I mean, it is just extraordinarily beautiful. But that's because if you take away the human, then, like the good book, it's the word of a God, not of a man. And the churches are places of worship. They're not about the human beings. So, not to get too heavy on that. I wanted to finish off on a positive, and I'm going to juxtapose this because on New Year's Eve there was a young guy, Harry Pittman. He's been all over the news. 15-year-old, a 15-year-old's been arrested on his murder, and we can't obviously talk about that case. But a 15-year-old guy's lost his life. Terrible tragedy for the family, for the wider community. Awful, awful, awful. And yet you juxtapose that terribleness with little Luke Little, coming up 17, almost the same age, about a year's difference. But he's playing darts and living his best life. And we've got to live for hope. We've got to live the everyman. If you get a chance, go and see One Life. It's the story of Nicholas Winton. Now, I don't know whether you know the story, but Nicholas Winton was in Prague, in Czechoslovakia, just before the Nazis invaded Poland, and he managed to get about 639 Jewish children out of Czechoslovakia back over here to the UK. And the story, if you're going to go and see it and you don't want any spoilers, I'm going to give you this alert, and I'll give you a couple of seconds to either turn the sound down or disappear. But it is, for me, at the beginning of the year, it's Oscar material. It is, Anthony Hopkins is just fabulous. I mean, it's a film that has no bells and whistles. It's just a really, really good story. And the story is that Nicholas Winton, who lived to be 106, died in 2015, lived to be 106, and he got nearly 650 kids out of Czechoslovakia before the Nazis got there, Jewish kids, and got them over here. And they're saying that because of Nicholas Winton, there's over 6,000 people here or have lived their lives. So hang on, Terry Wookford said it wasn't the translation of the Bible Tyndall was convicted of heresy for. It was 3 of his other works discussing free will, denial of the soul, and justification of the faith. Well, let's just get to the crux of it. The Catholic Church put him to death at the stake, and from what I was told, it was because of the translation. If it had been specifics, denial of the soul. Interesting. Ooh. I'd love to have a theosophical conversation with you, Terry. That would be fabulous. So if you were thinking about it, go see One Life. Fabulous film. It's a really simple story of hope. That's all it is. And Luke Little, it's another story of hope. It's the everyman journey. It's the hero's journey. He's 16-year-old. He's going to live his best life. I hope that this doesn't, whatever happens to him in darts. And I believe, as a dart player at school, I believe that darts gave me the mental rigor of really quick sums and arithmetic, very quick mathematics. And I believe that everybody should be taught darts, hand-eye coordination. It's a wonderful sport. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And a 16-year-old that's just making away. That's why he's caught the heart of this country, because everybody wants him to do well. And with that, I'm going to thank you for your likes, your subscriptions, but most of all, your indulgence. Again, tonight's live was just a stream of consciousness, and it didn't go the way that I had planned it to go, and it's always a joy. It's always an honour, and it's always a privilege. Don't forget, 8 o'clock Sunday, we'll go for another live. And if you need to contact me, I understand that eBay, YouTube have changed things around ever so slightly. So there is an email. If you, at the beginning of the channel, on the About tab there, if you click there, then it'll show you the email. If you have anything to say or anything you think I need to know about, then please be in touch. let me know, and I'll see you Sunday at 8.